Good morning, Ekoji, and welcome to our Sunday service. My name is Frank Swithers, and I'll be your service chair today.
And we are grateful for your presence. Today's service is being live streamed on Zoom and YouTube. If you're new to Ekoji, you'll find in the back you see pocket in front of you one native guide, which will help you through the service and answer any questions that you may have regarding the service order, as well as the history and essentials of Shin Buddhism. Our main priority is keeping our Sangha a safe place in the Dharma. Although we're very happy to see each other, please be mindful of others' comfort levels. And please keep in mind the following policies. Keep your masks on at all times. And thank you very much for your understanding. On the Naijin this morning is our resident minister, Reverend Nariaki Hayashi, as well as our minister's assistant, or certified assistant, Eric Ishii, and minister's assistant, Molly Kerman. Now it's time for meditation and recitation of the Nebutsu.
Meditation provides a pause that prepares our mind to receive the Dharma. Please place your hand on your lap, lower your head slightly, and release tension to meditation.
Please find the lending sheet in your service book. We will now sing the Vandalities from Three Refuges. Please rise. Please be seated. And please turn to page 39.
In the service book, we will now chant the Jusege.
This morning, the Dharma message is given by River Nash.
Namo loves, Namo loves, Namo loves. Namo. Please allow me to take off my mask. So, good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Sunday Dharma service. So, in life, we have pleasant experiences, but we also have unfortunate ones. The latter may be inconvenient, but they are as much a part of our life as the former. So those unfortunate experiences in life may cause our stress and suffering. But as the historical Buddha Shakyamuni said, in life, stress and suffering are inevitable. But the stress and suffering we meet are neither good or bad. They just are. So that is what the historical Buddha Shakyamuni stated. So Buddhism begins in acknowledging the stress and suffering, in the acceptance of it, and in the attempt to transform our understanding of how they are not only harmful, but also beneficial. Our denomination, Shin Buddhism, began in the recognition that we make that transformation through the Nembutsu, Namo Amida Butsu, which is written in the central scroll, the 6 characters, Namo Amida Butsu. So we make the transformation through the Nembutsu. I remember going to the, the Great Falls to see the Potomac River. The rapids were really amazing, and the river, they gave me a really real sense of the power, of the river. Eventually, the water of the river that I saw will flow, into the vast ocean, but it would not go there directly. Rather, the water will flow around bends, split into forks, and otherwise have a variety of experiences before it reaches the ocean. There may be waterfalls. Certainly, the water will hit huge rocks, and also there may be storms along its course. So too, there will be times when the water will just flow quietly and peacefully. Rivers are like our lives. As we follow the course of our lives, there are times when we have to go around to take the long way, just like the river flowing around the bend. So too, we face many challenges in the course of our lives, just as a river facing waterfalls and rocks. Our lives are subject to outside influences, just like great rain pouring into the river, causing it to rampage. So we rage. And of course, there are times when things go just smoothly for a while as the river peacefully flowing along until the next rapid. So in life, there are good times as well as bad. And if all lives are different, they are also all the same in that each has its own course. The path of Shin Buddhism is based on a Buddha called Amida Buddha. Amida Buddha is understood to be the embodiment of the truth of enlightenment realized by Shakyamuni, which is wisdom and compassion, but in a personified form of a Buddha. Thus, Amida Buddha is known as the Buddha of wisdom and compassion, the Buddha of wisdom and compassion. However, unlike the historical Buddha Shakyamuni, Amida Buddha is formless and is colorless and ultimately is nameless. So we are taught that Amida Buddha took an expedient existence in the Nembutsu, Namo Amida Butsu, that we recite. Through the Nembutsu, we are taught that if the stress and suffering we experience are embraced as part of the totality of our life, then we can discover the great meanings in them. The great meanings we discover from such inconvenient experiences are the missing pieces we usually overlook or ignore. The reason why we ignore them is because it's inconvenient to us. When we experience a challenging situation, we tend to see it as something negative and inconvenient. Negativity seems to be surrounding us, destroying our hope. That is why there are so many articles and books that talks about how to stay positive and seek the convenient. Learning to stay positive is not necessarily a bad thing, but Buddhism, from the very beginning, taught that since everything in this world is brought about by many causes and conditions, there can be no fundamental distinctions between things. So what we consider to be distinctions of negative and positive, inconvenient, inconvenient, are not essentially different things because they are so interrelated. To say why, what we think as inconvenient is always based on convenient, and without inconvenient, inconvenient does not exist. The same as negative and positive. We tend to see, oh, this is negative, oh, this is positive. But negative exists because positive exists. And without positive, negative does not exist. So they're very interrelated. So what we consider to be distinctions are no more than human bias. That is something that we have made up for ourselves and which others may not see and which not be even real. Therefore, things that happen in life are not essentially inconvenient or convenient, but they are what they are. This is what the wisdom of Amida is trying to make us realize. Wisdom is the matter of the mind, but what is important is that we also have the heart. And compassion is the matter of the heart. Therefore, the point of the teaching of Shin Buddhism is that wisdom must be accompanied by compassion because we need to receive both wisdom and compassion. This is why the Nembutsu solves the problem of our bias. Our problem is that we rely too much on the mind. We rely too much on the mind. So it may be that when we first recite the Nembutsu, Namo Amida Butsu, we rely on our mind. But when the Nembutsu becomes part of your life, at that point, you do it with your heart. Even as a Shin Buddhist minister, I cannot say that the Nembutsu is completely part of my life. Of course, there are times when I get driven by my ego and my bias because I'm just an ordinary human being. But when I try to recite the Nembutsu in my everyday life, or even think about it, the Nembutsu, it does warm my heart. I cannot fully explain this experience, but I do feel it. I believe when I feel the warmth in my heart, that is when the compassion is working in me. The compassion of Amida is working in me. Just as the river has many twists and turns, rapids and flat water, our life is full of challenges and also changes that which often make us feel uncomfortable. But the Nembutsu reminds us that regardless of those challenges and changes, we as a river are always supported by the bank, which guide us to the vast ocean to become one with it. Thus, the Nembutsu tells us that we will eventually be okay. In conclusion, I would like to paraphrase a poem written by Reverend Toi. So please join me in Gasho, palms together. Because there is the river, there is the bank. Because I am here, there is the Nembutsu. The bank exists for the river, and so the Nembutsu exists for me. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu.
Thank you for your heart message. It is now time for the ritual of Oshoko, the burning of incense. This is the time to quietly contemplate and reflect on the impermanence of life.
Oshoko involves drawing incense from a shared bowl, and we understand that individual comfort levels may vary.
We offer this option to those who are comfortable doing so, but please note that ritual is not required.
We invite you to come forward to the front table, offer gasho,
And should you wish, place any dana, which is our offering of gratitude to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha in the bowl on the table. Dana is selfless giving and is used to support Ekoji's facilities, temple materials, our service books, and important programs and activities. Jigasho is to place our palms together in the circle of beads, and Menju as an expression of gratitude. By doing this, we welcome into ourselves the three treasures, the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. If you're new and
would like to participate but feel unsure about the steps involved.
a Sangha member wearing an Kesa will be available in the rear of the Hondo to accompany you and walk you through the process. Eric is there, and I think Molly's going to be there also. Please approach mindfully. Once finished, please return to your seats by the side aisles. And we have hand sanitizer on the piano and on the table of the computer for use. Reverend Hatchie will now lead us in closing meditation and recitation of the members.
It's now time for
Song announcements. Meditation meets here Thursdays at 7:30. Hosted by myself and Roger Scott. No registrations needed. Come as you are. Please join our Dharma discussion group after service. We meet over by the computer, or stay on the Zoom line to participate. There will be a movie discussion group this afternoon at 2 o'clock on our Ekoji Zoom room. I don't know the name of the movie offhand, but join the group and it'll be a lively discussion. That is all the announcements we have today.
have a wonderful